Hey, how's it going? It's Aurawest Tarot, and today I'm going to be reading for the zodiac sign of Gemini for your monthly reading. Now, I just want to go through some quick announcements real quick. So, I've been experimenting a lot. I'm not going to drone on too long about this because I did an Aquarius reading and I just don't feel like doing it again. I'm so tired. So, I've been experimenting a little bit with the monthly readings, and I am doing some changes right now. I'm trying to make a custom read format, kind of a tarot spread that I'll be using for the monthly reads, but right now it's not complete, it's not ready yet. So I'm going to be just doing Celtic Crosses for now. The reason is it's tried, it's tested, it's been done before, and it does get, obviously, the message across. In the future, I will be adopting, obviously, kind of a new spread of some sort. I don't really know how it's going to work. I have written down, I've been writing down all kinds of ideas and things like that. Just haven't really settled on something yet. I've been trying to experiment in the Scorpio reading, monthly reading. I did kind of try a different format, and but it's just unfortunately taking way too damn long to do these reads. So I decided to scratch that, and I'm still working on a new different type of spread that's going to be a little bit shorter, but get the message across and also focus on the things that people actually want to watch and not the stuff that they don't. So for this reading, I will be doing one single card out of the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck. It's a very, very awesome deck. Here's the Dreams of Gaia right here. It is a more of advanced kind of tarot deck, so I don't recommend it for anyone that's kind of new to tarot. This is more for if you've been doing it for a while. They don't really word things like traditional tarot and stuff, so it's a little bit more difficult to navigate through it. I barely understand it at times, so I wouldn't recommend it for if you're new to tarot, but we'll read one card out of that. It's got a lot of cool information stuff in it. It's very interesting, and so I figured out just for this particular video, I would just read one card out of it. The second thing is that I will be using just my Gilded Tarot Royale deck for just the Celtic Cross. And I think that's about it. We've got some candles lit, got incense going. Finally, the last thing is I am still needing donations. I've had a couple of people donate already. If you are interested in donating and would like to help the channel grow, I'm going through some financial difficulties, so I'd really appreciate anything I can get, large or small. You don't have to if you don't want. I'll be doing an event, though, to give thanks back to those who donate. So I would very much appreciate it. The donation link will be in the drop-down link below in the video description, and also in the About Me section of the Aurawest Tarot About Me section. So let's get right to it. I don't want to drone on too long here. So this is going to be 3 minutes here. I don't know what it is about like these monthly reads. I'm always like jumbled and whatever. But once again, zodiac sign of Gemini. We're reading for those of you joining. Alright, let's get one card, and this is going to be for the first 2 weeks of December. So this Celtic Cross and this message from the Dreams of Gaia will be for the first 2 weeks of December. Can we get one card, please? The Dreams of Gaia for the zodiac sign of Gemini. The first 2 weeks going into December. Please. Please. Oh, shit. Holy moly. And one card drop out. So, I got the Union card. Okay. It was reversed, so I'll be reading it as reversed. Let's see what that's about. For those of you who do not want to hear this message, you don't have to. Just go to timestamps and go to the Celtic Cross. So Alright, are you ready? Alright, Union. Oh, and this, I'm just going to read the key phrases when it's upright. So when this card is upright, it's unity, wholeness, harmony arises when we are in alignment. You have unlimited potential, a path that marries science and spirituality. Duality creates separation, the marriage of body, mind, and soul. All is connected, complete self-acceptance. Do not dominate or be submissive. At the center is the void. You are a temple, worship within. Fear and need, cornerstones of dependency. So let's go to the reversed. Oh, it's quite a long one. Alright, so this is, when it's reversed, describes potential blockages, Gemini. When the Union card appears in the future position, it symbolizes stepping into the void within using this time ahead to create. Oh, I'm sorry. Bloop, 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 bloop. I was reading the future. Potential blockage. When the Union card appears reversed, it represents fear and need. Two things that can destroy harmony and peace within all aspects of lives, especially our relationship with others. If you are lonely and seeking a partner to assuage, guessing that word is, that assuage, maybe, that loneliness, you are likely to found your relationship upon need and fear. You may build it upon an unstable foundation that has potential to develop into dependency. Never a good thing. Relationships build upon need, as opposed to those two who are a whole come together as equals, are all too often designed to fail. Ask yourself, do you want a relationship right now that is meeting of two minds and hearts as equals, that is free of doubt and insecurities that erode and weaken the bonds of love? If so, would it be better to have a loving relationship with yourself and address the doubts and fears so they no longer are the driving force or motivation for seeking a relationship? Pretty good point. The Union card reversed suggests you to stop looking for wholeness within your relationships and instead find it within yourself first. Give to yourself all that you would give or wish to receive from another. Be your own best friend. Be your own lover. Be happy and peace in your own company, and you will never be lonely again, whether you are with someone or not. Very strong meaning there, which is quite interesting because a lot of people do unfortunately face this dilemma where they are trying to find satisfaction, wholeness, meaning in a relationship or from someone. It's kind of that idea of you complete me. That's that was something I always used to think was a good thing to hear from someone, but I'm starting to realize it's not such a good thing because you really need to be able to stand strong on your own 2 feet, love yourself so much so that you can you can be with yourself, entertain yourself. You don't find yourself being lonely because there's always stuff you can do, find stuff that entertains yourself. You're happy with what's around you, or you're happy with what you have. But the minute that you start seeking fulfillment in other things, it never leads to a good path. It oftentimes creates just what that describes, dependency, and that's never really a healthy thing. Once you get dependent on something or someone, it creates a vicious cycle. So perhaps that's going to be a focus in this reading. We'll see what happens. So let's go to your Celtic Cross now. It's going to go to 4. Alright, let's get some shuffles here. I just did the Aquarius reading. So I did shuffle a little bit while I went on break, but I will put more shuffles. What do we got for Gemini in the next 2 weeks going into December? Can we do a Celtic Cross spread, please? 10 cards total. The situation, challenge, beliefs, distant past, near future, self-perception, outside influences, and action, advice, and likely outcome. I'm still reading from the format because I haven't done Celtic Crosses in a while, and this wanted to pop out, so I'm going to take it. Ace of Wands in reverse for your situation. Let's see what we got here. Let me just put the cards down and we'll talk about it. So Gemini, your current situation right now is going to talk about the Ace of Wands in reverse. So it's generally going to talk about two things. It can talk about the most obvious one is just there's going to be some type of blockages that are occurring in your life. This is, the Wands suit is talking about energy, passion, drive, focus, putting it into something. When it's upright, you generally have some type of idea or vision or something like that you want to work on. You want to put that energy, start working on it, get to it, explore it, enjoy it. Reverse is going to talk about things being stifled in some way or another. It could be also just a loss of passion, On a more extreme note, it does talk about sometimes the wand's energy being very active, very fire explosive. It can talk about too much of it. It can be volcanic in some ways. So perhaps that energy is not being focused in the right directions. We have Gemini energy with the Knight of Swords showing that is crossing it over. Okay, so it is crossing over the Ace of Wands in reverse. This is your challenge, okay? The Knight of, I'm sorry, not the Knight of Wands. I apologize if I said that. The Knight of Swords. I don't know why I get those two mixed up all the time. The Knight of Swords does talk about, it is an act, this is one of the actually it is the fastest knight of the four. It is the fastest knight. It is someone that is very eager. It is a logical, it comes from the air realm, so it's logic, reason. There's a heavy presence on the clarity, truth, things like of that nature. Wanting to get to the bottom of things. This knight does embody Wand's energy, so it is air plus Wand's energy. So this is somebody that does generally want to communicate and talk and make things happen, which is quite interesting that it is covering over the Ace of Wands in reverse. So this kind of comes back to what I just briefly said about having too much energy, and this may be something for some of you Gemini out there, having just a lot of pent-up energy, wanting to get something done to some extent, but not necessarily knowing how to do it. Okay, this, given that it's sideways here, I don't really, it doesn't say if the card is upright or reversed. It's just basically crossing it. So this may be something where you are trying to channel this energy into taking action towards something, because like I said, that Knight of Swords does have that Wand's energy, so you do want to go towards something, make some idea of yours happen, but perhaps you're just not certain how to do it. For a lot of you out there, this could be a relationship. Okay, so if we look at just the relationship sense of things, this is basically going to immediately talk about blockages or obstacles in a relationship that you're trying to make work, and you're trying to communicate how you think it should work to this person, but maybe they're not really getting the message, and it's starting to build up in you, and you're getting frustrated. For others of you, this could be a career of some sort that you're involved in, and you're finding that there's a lot of hurdles or issues or things being asked of you, and maybe you want to communicate this and make some changes. You just don't feel like this is fair in this way, or there's a lot of different ways. Maybe you want to tell your boss, this immediately needs to be fixed. We need to address this right now. This is messed up. This is a problem. So maybe that could cause some pent up frustration, right? Or some blockages. Maybe your job is, you find that you could do something a lot better. It would improve your productivity, but your boss doesn't want to adopt it. So you want to talk to them and address about it, as soon as possible. We're not going to touch too much into it, but that's kind of the initial what I'm getting from those cards right off the bat. So moving into your beliefs about the situation, do have the Knight of Cups in reverse. Just this once again is coinciding with this energy that I'm seeing here. Is this particular knight is embodying the water plus wands aspect. So it is sometimes emotional. We're looking at more the emotional extent of things that are governing around the emotional side of satisfaction, meaningful relationships, love, all that kind of stuff, passion, creativity, desire, but it's reversed here. So this is kind of coinciding with this Ace of Wands in reverse, talking about that there's probably some, either one, you're emotionally holding back, two, you don't really want to invest your time, your emotional resources into this situation, whatever it is, whether this is a relationship or a job of some sort. Like I said, just when there's blockages and things like that, things snagging us up, it's probably not going to allow energy to flow. It's going to generally choke it or bottleneck it, and that can cause problems. So you may, right now, to whatever the situation is that you just may not want to, may kind of feel like a creative block for some of you, and for others of you, just emotionally don't want to invest in the situation, especially if this is a relationship of some sort. You may just be choosing to hold back at this time. If this is a job that you're invested in, you just may not feel that you're growing in this job. This could talk about, for some of you, stagnation, really. Just being bored, just not wanting to do this anymore. The Knight, when it's reversed, is just throwing in, just not interested. Just kind of withdrawing, holding back. It's just, why would you want to be creatively invested into something that you have no interest in? I wouldn't. I mean, it's like trying to tell someone, hey, you want to go and paint this picture that I already know that you absolutely hate art, but hey, you want to go and do it? No. I don't like art. It's not for everyone. So, just apply it how you see it. But let's move forward now. And we'll kind of flesh this out a bit more. Now, the root of the issue, it's talking about Queen of Swords in reverse. So, the root of the issue just could be, for some of you, this could be talking about being a little over-domineering, wanting to get your way, using logic as a weapon, being a little defensive. So, if this is a job, you may start, this can start to talk about getting a bit irritable with your workplace environment. Let's say this is a job that, like I said, you're not really resonating with. It's just a grind. This is almost how it seems. Like I'm getting that vibe. It's a grind. Geminis are really good at making money. I think Capricorn and Gemini are the money makers. I think that was like Leo and some other ones. But I mean, to my mind, Capricorn and Geminis are. I always just see dollar signs on them. They just want to make money, 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 money. Okay, there's some other zodiac signs I know, but I'm just saying that's what comes to my mind. Is Geminis and Capricorns are the money makers. Okay, but I also know with Geminis can be very feisty sometimes. They want to get things done. They want to do it their way. They have kind of like a very peculiar. Most times, this is true. Gemini will have a very can be a little bit of an assertive, sometimes a little bossy. That's not all of you, so don't take my head off here. But the Queen of Swords in reverse does talk about something, someone just like that, and that's the lighter version. This card can get a little bit hairy when you really want to dig deep into it. But it is somebody that can be, get a little defensive, a little irritable, can get a little feisty like that. And so when they're not getting their way, especially, and I'm wondering if it's related to this, emotionally holding back, these blockages, and kind of wanting to assert how things should be, and address something. So this could be a challenge, honestly, about getting your way in something, and it's starting to frustrate you a little bit. If we're looking at a relationship, this could be dealing with a toxic, as far as someone that you're deeming as toxic, or someone that it's not working out. Maybe you feel they're stringing you along, or kind of bullshitting you, and you're a bit defensive towards them, which is why you might be holding back. That would make sense. Why it could be blockages. Why things may not be moving forward with this person. Perhaps it's, in your eyes, someone that's unstable. They don't, follow through with what they're going to say, or they kind of string you along, bullshit you. For a true Gemini that's got some fire in their chart, I'm sure that would piss them off quite a bit. So that's showing here the root of the issue could be potentially being a little bit too aggressive in your way that you're kind of talking with others. That's for some of you. For others of you, it's just kind of being overly defensive and hostile in some cases towards things, reacting a little bit too hardly, using logic, like I said, as a weapon, trying to get your way, kind of explain why they're wrong. One of these kind of dealios. Okay, just apply it how you see it. In your year past was the Hangman in reverse. So for some of you are probably spending a lot of time trying to understand a situation but getting lost in it. Okay, that would lead, if you are spending an enormous amount of time trying to make sense of a situation that's not, put it this way, if you're dealing with a job that just has a bunch of ridiculous policies in place, you can spend all year if you want trying to understand these policies and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, are those policies changing? Or are they staying put? So if you spend 1 year trying to understand why the company does it this way, why is that policy in place? Have you changed anything? Has anything changed with all that introspection and obtaining new knowledge about the situation, whatever, trying to understand it, okay? That's for some of you. For others of you, this is trying to make sense of a relationship. Does this, if you have, this is, a lot of people get stuck in these situations with people that at the end of the day, we might love them, we might care about them, we might want them to be or show up in a certain way, but at the end of the day, they just don't. Okay? If somebody's got to the age of 25, 30, 35, 40, 50, etc., odds are pretty good they're not going to change. Very little. Okay? They might change things about them, but their core nature is not going to, it's just not going to really change. And it takes sometimes a long time to really understand that for a lot of us, everyone's at a different skill level as far as their amount of relationship experience, right? There's people who have had one relationship, others have 30. Everyone's different. Okay, so, you might, for some people, they've hit age 30, they've gone through 10, 15 relationships, they're a lot more experienced and what to expect, what they like, what they don't like, etc. And for others, this is their first long-term relationship, and so this has been something that's really challenged them because of the fact that It's hard, especially anyone will tell you that first heartbreak or second heartbreak, it's so difficult to let that go. And so that could be an example of why you would want to stay trying to get perspective on it, trying to understand it. Trying to seek answers, trying to get, look at things a different way. Perhaps you've tried to make something work, right? You've tried to make a relationship work so hard that, you took the time to try and understand what this person was complaining about. But you have to also think to yourself, some people are just toxic. It doesn't matter what changes you implement. You make these changes that they're saying you need to do, or that are the root of the issue, what about that? And then they just go and screw you over again. Doesn't matter what you do, and so it just ends up you just perpetually staying in this, trying to understand why that didn't work. But you fail to realize that, maybe it didn't work because that other person's just toxic. So just apply it how you see it. But once again, if you're stuck in thought the whole time trying to make sense of things, or, research or understand something, or look at things in a different way, and you do it for far too long, there's a time where you need to kind of just say, okay, enough's enough, I need to move forward. Otherwise, it starts to lead to these blockages that we saw in the position. Your near future, we have Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Let me get one clarification for that. So, I already know what it's indicating. I just want to get one more information on. Can we clarify the Knight of Pentacles in reverse for first 2 weeks? For Gemini, please. In their near future. Why is that there? 6 of Swords in reverse. So this is heavily leaning, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this is heavily leaning towards kind of more of a toxic situation with a lover, to be honest. It can still apply with jobs and stuff, but in your near future, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse does talk about kind of going in circles sometimes, going at a crawl. You've got a lot of blockages here, Gemini. Heavy. It's lingering, it's stuck in limbo, it's not moving forwards, it's holding back, it's defensive energy, being guarded. There's just so much of that here. And when I clarify to the Knight of Pentacles, it's showing 6 of Swords in reverse. That's kind of the staying put card. 6 of Swords, when it's upright, does talk about, going... I almost treat it kind of similar to the 8 of Cups. It's kind of walking away from a situation. But this is going through oftentimes turbulent times when it's upright. You're navigating through difficult situations and murky waters and things like that. But you're doing it in, seeking something better for yourself. Seeing what else is out there. Just because it's raining and storming the whole time in one state doesn't mean it can't be sunny in another. Okay, and that's kind of what you're doing. You have to go through the storm a little bit to get to the sun. And she's doing this, and you can kind of see the moons in the background there. That's a powerful indicator discussing that there's a lot of mystery down this road. There's a lot of unknowns, things that you don't know, but she's still venturing and taking her chances with it. When it's reversed, it can sometimes talk about someone that just, it's like, just now's not the time, I don't want to take that chance, I don't want to do it. You want to play it safe a little bit. But the trade-off to doing that is that you have to weather the storm. So it's there's always a trade-off. So now it's like, hey, I want that sun that's over there. I know it's there. Someone's, enough people have told me about it. I know, I'm confident of the road. They told me how to get there. I just don't want to do it yet. Sometimes it can also finding that there's too many obstacles in your way. And combined with this Knight of Pentacles in reverse, this does talk about that. It can talk about that. You just feel that you have so much coming, hitting you at once. And once again, if we want to look at this as a job, this may be work demands that are just becoming unrealistic. Feeling like you're just kind of being a slave almost to your job. That would probably, if you felt like a slave to your job and you're working 10 hours or just being burnt out the whole time, well, would that get you a little bit defensive and pissed off? Sure, I think so. Would that cause some blockages? I think so. Would that probably cause you to be a bit emotionally shut off? Why? Because you're so burnt out? Probably. Yeah. So that's one possibility. It does show in your near future there is going to be, I think, kind of more just a grind that's going through and playing it safe is what kind of the issue is. And it reverts quite honestly back to this Ace of Wands in reverse. The delay, the blockages, kind of pent up energy, not knowing which direction, which way to go about things. Self-perception. Well, I didn't even notice this was here. The Moon card. So this is in your self-perception position. So self-perception is the moon. Did I not just discuss that? I swear to God, I wasn't even paying attention to this. I was just focusing on this. And there's the moon right there. You know, and that's talking about that smoky trail. It can talk about a lot of different things, but it kind of coincides a little bit with the High Priestess, you know, because the moon does rule over the High Priestess. And that is sometimes, you know, the going within the mind, staying trapped in the mind, trying to dwell on things, which is funny, because in your past, we had the hangman in reverse, which can, like I said, talk about staying too long into perspection, trying to, you know, find answers into things, look at things a new way, but, you know, staying there too long. I mean, we're not supposed to sit in thought all day long, and this is, once again, worrying about, there could be fears or illusions, things that you're worried about that may or may not happen. We can just leave the mind in a room for long enough, and I can tell you what, you can come up with all kinds of fears about what's going to happen. You come across somebody that you've known for years and you haven't seen them in a while, and they've been alone with each other, you know, alone with themselves long enough, and they have an anxiety disorder. I mean, especially if they got an anxiety disorder, I mean, you'll hear about every, 200 different fears. Oh my God, the COVID, and this, and that, and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's kind of one of those things. And it's just all these unknowns. People don't like knowns. They want to know which road they're going on, where they're going, what they're getting, how much they're going to get paid. Because, it provides a sense of stability in some ways. For some of you, may be feeling like you're lacking that, or your life is kind of just, it's kind of stuck in the air a little bit. And that's what I'm getting at. Stuck in the air. You're not really too happy with where you're at. And once again, if this is a difficult relationship, toxic relationships can drain the living shit out of you, okay? And there could be a lot of challenges being shot at you, especially if you don't trust this person that you've been with, but you still want to be with them, you're trying to make it work. You know, maybe they're offering you something that you just don't know which, where's that going to go? Is this person, are they up to no good? Are they really going to move in with me? How long will they move with me if they do? Or this job, should I go and find another job? But then, how am I going to pay my bills? What if I don't find another job? There's all these different things that you can come up with. So you might have this perspective of just kind of fearing that there's going to be more delays, or you're if you take the chance to push forwards, the storm's going to get the best of you. So I think there is a lot of fear, which is kind of putting into this Ace of Wands being reversed here for your situation and the blockages. So some of you are really going to be tested through that in the first 2 weeks of December. Alright, so sorry. Trying to refresh my mind. I have Celtic Cross on here because I haven't done them in a while. It's definitely been some time. We have Six of Cups showing up in here, and that's on the outside influences, how others perceive you. So some of you, once again, I think this is for people that know you. So if you have people that you are, this could be co-workers, could be family, it could be whoever. It's showing here they do perceive you as somebody that is probably stuck in thought a little bit. Six of Cups there's a lot of things with this card, but it does talk about sometimes memories, once again, kind of, wondering when things were better in your life. And so you might find that people are kind of picking up on your energy, noticing that you are kind of reminiscing a little bit on when things were better, and, well, now they're not really. Things kind of failed, but, oh, man, I remember when I was there, it was so better. Yeah. So they might be kind of getting a sense that in some ways that for some of you are just being a little bit, once again, still stuck in your head a little bit too much, getting perspective, but at the same time not really taking that action to really change anything. So it's not necessarily also bad. It does talk about satisfying relationships. For some of you, it just could talk about that they do see you as somebody that does make an effort to try and be there for others and maintain your connections. You may be reaching out to others, trying to have harmonious relationships with them. But just given the spread that I'm having here, I just have the sense like people are, the energy that I'm getting is like they're picking up on the fact that you are not really content. And you're focusing more on the past than when times were better for you. Okay, that's what I'm getting. That's not for all of you, but the energy seems almost like unanimous. It's going in that direction. Now, in your action advice, there needs to be balance with the Justice showing up here, Libra energy. There and that would make 1,010%. That would make sense, Gemini. I mean, honestly, we have a whatever you're dealing with going in the first 2 weeks of December. It is most certainly at this time, and what you have been dealing with is some type of situation that has been straining you, it's been challenging you. You have become guarded, a little bit emotionally closed off, and probably a little selective on when and where you want to put your energy. Okay, and this is kind of leading you down to a path of uncertainty, not knowing perhaps for some of you where you're going in life, or what you're doing, or if you're going to get that lover of your dreams, or if you're going to have a job that you're ever going to like. And I think it's kind of, pulling all of that is causing that desire of reminiscing on when you had better things going on in your life. And it just, once again, is a perception of how you're seeing it. The moon card being here kind of talks about that. It's all in your head. It's an illusion sometimes. You're creating this idea in your head that what I have now sucks. What I had then was perfect. I've lost it now. It's no longer, it's in the past, and I'll never get that. It's almost like reaching back. That's never a healthy thing to do. So if that's you, I would strongly suggest you follow what the Justice card talks about and really ask yourself to look around in your life and see what is out of balance. Because the Justice is talking about, just look at the card itself. There's the scales. Okay? You can't have one scale just massively tilted on the side. That's not going to probably be fair. It's going to be lopsided, right? So you do need to see what's fair. If your job is not being fair with you, is your boss respecting your time? Are they working with you? There's plenty of jobs out there. So if you are stuck in a job that you hate, you don't like it, the advice is to stop penting your energy up inside of you, express it in a healthy way. You can't manage everything in life. That's just not practical. Okay, and I'm finding this firsthand in my life, trying to start this channel and do this, that trying to do everything at once it's a nightmare. It's so stressful. And this channel has, honestly, like, the amount of stuff you have to do constantly, and the timing and stuff, it'll overwhelm you quick. And so the Justice card really does talk about, finding something that's balanced. And if your job's out of whack, then you need to address that. You can't just ignore it forever. And the other thing is, if you have a toxic relationship, relationships are not supposed to be emotionally draining, and they're not supposed to deplete your bank account, and they're not supposed to cause stagnation to the point where you're at a crawl. Okay, if you're finding that you're dealing with someone, it doesn't matter if it's family or not, you really need to evaluate that situation and ask yourself, is this situation or with this person, is it balanced and harmonious in my life? If it's not, then that's where you need to start. You need to address that. People say, well, I just don't have time for that. Well, make time for it, because of the fact that it's going to have a serious negative impact, and that's one of our issues as humans. We move past so much of the time. We put a band-aid on something. We don't want to look at it, because why? It's just easier to put something over it. Then we don't have to ignore the problem. But then you take that band-aid off, and now you see it's just like crater, and it's like an abscess, and it's infected. And if we just did it right the first time, and maybe went to go get treatment, got antibiotics, we wouldn't have to deal with now months of problems. And when I used to work in the hospital, especially, I used to see that all the time. Patients that didn't want to deal with something that was relatively minor, something as their blood pressure. At very least, if they weren't going to change their diet or exercise, just get on a blood pressure medication if you could. And get on access if you didn't have insurance, whatever. There was definitely ways. There was coupons in many cases for charging $3 for their medication. I mean, I've been on the streets. I have. Okay, so I know that you can get $3 for medication, especially when you have free healthcare with access and stuff. There's plenty of ways to do it. And just that simple medication could have reduced their blood pressure and reduced complications, but they never did it. So they just didn't want to face it. So instead of not facing it, what ended up happening? Came with complications. They put them in the hospital for weeks on end. So that was just simply not dealing with something that was out of balance. Blood pressure was not balanced. Didn't deal with it. So you can ignore it, but it will catch up with you. So definitely action advice is to address what needs to be balanced and start with one thing and one thing only. Don't put 50 things on the table. One thing, Geminis. One thing. Take the one thing that is focused, and you say, well, I can't fix everything in that situation. Take what you can control in the situation. And you really do have to evaluate sometimes. If it is too just fucking out of whack, then sometimes you do need to situations, or just temporarily take a break from it. Okay? And if that's a job, then maybe you do need to leave your job. So I can't leave my job. I can't. Yes, you can. You can just not show up. Okay? There's many ways you can do that. But my advice on that is, obviously, don't just not show up to your job. That was just like a literal explanation that you can leave your job. But I would, with the amount of jobs in the economy right now, I would be very baffled almost if you were not able to find something different. Sometimes you just need to step out of your comfort zone and just try something different to give yourself a breather. It doesn't mean to say you can't go back to that same line of work if that's what you want to do. But guaranteed, given that I've done it, would I go back to my old job? Probably not. It was very uncomfortable when I left my previous job that I've been doing for 8 years. Scary, but it is doable. You can do it. Okay, I'm telling you, the universe, when you put your mind towards and you align your energy, it will allow you to move forward in a way that you can't imagine. But you do have to have faith, and you do need to. And I definitely would encourage having some spirituality to get you through it. I was never a spiritual person in the past, but now I am, and I've definitely found that it's helped me substantially. Lastly, the outcome. 4 of Cups. There is the should-haves, the would-haves, the could-haves. The 4 of Cups sitting on an oak tree. And that's kind of coming back to what I was talking about. Let's take one more look at that right there. So, Geminis, this is really going to be your ultimate challenge, is that you've got a lot of blockages, fears. I'm not going to touch bases on everything again, but it's showing here just this, once again, the longing for it. And this comes back to how people see you. Remember what I was talking about when I was talking about people seeing you, 10 times you're better. And you know what's showing in your outcome? That's exactly what you're doing. Okay? So, really and truly, it comes back to that Justice card coinciding to that 4 of Cups, is that you don't want to be sitting under that tree the whole time, ignoring what opportunities are around you, because that's exactly what that guy is doing. He's kind of like daydreaming in some ways. He's bored. He's discontent with what he has. But he's failing to see what he does have. I mean, there's cups around him in the picture. Okay? But he's not looking at them. It's about what I don't have. That's life. We don't have everything we want. I would love to have a Lamborghini in my driveway, just for the sake of driving one. It doesn't mean to say I want to drive it every single day, but I would like to have it. But I can look out the window 2,000 times, and I'm pretty sure there's not going to be a Lamborghini that's going to just magically appear out there. Okay? That doesn't mean to say I need to go out by the tree there and reminisce about why that Lamborghini didn't show up in my driveway. Sometimes we do have to find the balance, right? Refocus our energy, okay? And focus our energy in the right path, okay? And then we'll get results. And perhaps one day I'll put a Lamborghini in that driveway. That's more along the lines, instead of pouting that I'm not going to get my way. And I have known a few Geminis, and I love you Geminis, but sometimes you guys can get in that pouty way when you don't get your way. But you are also, just like any air sign, do have that emotional side that's deep down. It's deep down. It doesn't come out in the way that, like water signs are a lot more, water signs are always kind of oh, they never get it. I've met water signs that are literally, they don't know the tarot or anything like that, and they're just general people and stuff. And they always sometimes baffled or not, they just don't get how the air signs really work, and they don't understand. They just kind of shut off a little bit. It's that's not true. I know Geminis, Libras, and all that stuff, they have that emotional side. It's just expressed differently. And I think that can lead also to this pent-up frustration, not knowing how to really express your emotions, especially with, I can't get these cards up, with the Knight of Cups in reverse there. Could also be, like I said, I'm not going to dive too much on it. But anyways, that's what I got for you, Geminis. I really do think that you need to really look at your progress, where you're going for some of you. If life is going swell for you and you don't have any issues right now, career, you love your job, you love your relationships, then why are you watching tarot? So just apply it how you see it, guys. But it is encouraging you, primarily through this challenge and issue here, that you really need to evaluate. Number one, watch what you're doing. Where is your time and energy going? Do you have a plan? If you don't, how many things are on your plate? How many things can you accommodate? Maybe you need to cut some things out. Okay, going into the first 2 weeks of December. If you want to balance things, you're probably going to find that number one, you're going to be a lot less stressed, and you're going to feel like you're making progress and not having all these blockages and delays occurring. When you don't feel like you're moving forwards in life, you're going to get emotionally flustered. You're probably going to be a little bit on the fence. You're probably going to be a bit fearful about moving forwards, and you're going to have feel like you're going in circles with things. So this is kind of like what I'm seeing overall is just like a stagnant energy and kind of a contemplation period. You need to come out of your head with this and move forward. Like I said, sometimes we do just need to really gut what's on our plate right down. And I know people are going to say, well, I can't do that. Yes, you can. I've done it. It's possible. And let me tell you, I was extremely stubborn in the past. I was always like, this is just too much. I can't. Yes, you can. Turns out you can. So, and if you don't know how to do that and you're finding trouble, then I suggest that's probably your clue right there where you need to start. You need to find someone wiser than yourself to help you, like a mentor. Somebody on YouTube would be a start if you have access to the internet. Well, obviously, if you're watching this video. So look up some life coaches. Coach Corey Lane. I used him for years. He helped me get through a lot of things. That's an example of helping yourself there. He doesn't charge a penny. You can watch. He even gives his book away for free. Okay. There's other great woman life coaches out there. If you want a female life coach, just find someone that can help you kind of get some perspective on things that'll help you move forward. But you definitely need to get out of the stagnant energy moving forward in December, and just find out what is it. What is imbalanced in your life. Face it, address it, and if you can't address the whole situation, put in baby steps on how you can start to do that. Okay. But that's what I got for you, Gemini. I hope that wasn't too much of a ramble. You know me. I'm going to eventually have to change my name to Rambling West, and then probably get sued by Rambling Mike. Just kidding. Have a good day, guys. I'm out.